Hi friends, my name is host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People and a typologist, and I'd like to share with you a single question MBTI test that's a single use test as well. In other words, you can only hear this question once and thereafter you're spoiled on it, right? So it's not a skills test or anything like that, but if you ask somebody unsuspecting what this question is, as I'm asking you now, so you can test yourself, I predict that this is going to be how it breaks down, okay? So the question is, there's a wedding ring, there's a wedding ring and a wristwatch. There's a wedding ring and a wristwatch on a kitchen counter. Why? And what you should do is just go with your first answer that comes to mind. I would suggest is the only advice I'd give here. So pause the video for a second and then decide your answer, and we'll go down the answers here. And if you have an answer other than one that's listed here, I'd be very, very interested in hearing that in the comments. For 6-slot FE, ESFP and ENFP will say you're making some kind of statement, either about like you're trying to tell your partner, I don't like this watch you got me, or you're trying to tell your partner, we're done, I'm leaving my wedding ring right here, okay? Now note, it's a ring and a watch. SI6. ISFP or ISTP would say they either forgot them, left the house and left them on the counter and forgot them, or that's where they go. They go on the kitchen counter, so that's why they're there. That'd be an SI demonstrative. And this my hypothesis here is that the answer to this question is an expression of your 6-slot function. You project your 6-slot function onto the world in that fashion, in this question anyway. FI6, INFJ and ISFJ. It's like we're putting aside work-a-day drudgery of things you wear out in the world and doing what we want to now, whatever that is. TE6, ESTP and ENTP. And this is the first thing I thought when I heard this basically scenario presented to me in a video in an unrelated matter. I said, well, maybe he took him off to reach down the drain. Maybe he's trying to get something out of the garbage disposal. He doesn't want to get his watch and his ring messed up, That's TE6. NI6. This one's kind of interesting and hard to explain, but I would suspect they would just say they aren't relevant to the matter at hand. And it wouldn't be a more specific answer than that. That's my guess. That because they're so NE tool, that the NI demonstrative is going to display as, it's just sort of well, we can't know enough specifics, so it must just not be relevant. And you might say, well, isn't that the same thing as took them off to reach down the drain? In other words, they weren't relevant to reaching down the drain. No, it's not. What I'm saying is they're not going to be specific like that. They're going to give a general answer. That's my prediction. We'll see if this comes out to be correct or not, this prediction, This is how you do good thinking, right? You make predictions and put out a video and say, you tell me, does this work like this or not? Test it yourself and see. NE6, ENTJ, and ENFJ. They say something wild like to cast a magic spell or something off the wall, I guess. Anything off the wall would fall under this category of thing. SE6, ESTJ, and ESFJ would say, well, the person probably took them off because they're off to party and they don't want time and fidelity restraints. That'd be 6-slot SE. Is that all of them? Yes. And that's the self-test. And please do share with me if you think that it works. And ask friends and family and stuff and see what they say and see what kind of answers you get. And if this proves out, it would be interesting. Again, it's not a nice thing like a skills test that you can... Sure, that people can't game. This is obviously very easy to game. Once you've heard the answers, you could memorize whatever answer you want and give it to me. But for people who are fresh to it, then I think it might prove to be an interesting thing to ask people. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to eat plenty of
cheese.